In this video, we're going to talk about whatnot, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Stay tuned.
Bry's Comics.
So I often get asked about whatnot. What are my thoughts on the app? What are my thoughts as a seller, as a buyer, on the future of the app? And I thought, why not just do a video on it and put all my thoughts into one place? But before we get into that, we always have a giveaway here on my YouTube channel. If you subscribe to the channel, comment on this video, and like this video, you're entered to win Invincible Iron Man number 7 this month in a 9.8. And if you head over to brycecomics.com, there's a separate giveaway over there this month for Dr. Doom number 1, the 1 in 50 and a 9.8, the first solo series for Dr. Doom. Of course, follow me on Whatnot for weekly shows, giveaways, every single show. And lastly, follow me on Instagram for trade deals, for grails, and other fresh content over there. So in this video, I want to talk about my overall thoughts on the app, what I think the future of the app is going to be. I want to talk about the technology that's used on the app, the customer service. I want to talk about the actual selling experience, and then some hot button topic items like, all the big shops taking the center stage and edging out the little guy, too many sellers, bad sellers, all of that. I want to get into all that and to start with my overall thoughts on the app. And at this point in time, I am overall bullish on the app of Whatnot and this whole concept of the live shopping experience. I think that there is tremendous value in this specific way of shopping for comic books. I think there's a huge future for live shopping in all different aspects of retail, and especially comic books. And at the moment, Whatnot is leading the pack to being, the leader in the online shopping experience for comic books. There will likely be other people that try to get a little piece of this action. I wouldn't be surprised if eBay comes out with a live shopping experience. But as long as Whatnot can stay competitive, and it looks and sounds like they do have the right types of people in management to stay competitive and ahead of the curve, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with for years to come. So I think there is huge potential, huge future, and I think it's absolutely worth investing as a seller like myself in building a following and Whatnot. I only wish that I would have done it sooner. And I do, in fact, have egg on my face, folks. I am embarrassed and ashamed of the way that I responded to Whatnot when they reached out to me 2 years ago. Over 2 years ago now, they reached out to me and said, would you like to be a seller on our platform? And I think I may have responded in an email something along the lines of, why would I want to be on your stupid app? I'm sorry to whoever received my awful response, but you know what, folks? We need to be humble. We need to be humble. I feel like I've grown as an individual since then, and I apologize if I ruined someone's day by saying, why would I want to be on your app when I can sell on Instagram? Why would I want to pay the 10% fee to you guys? And I think I said something along the lines of, this is never going to work for you. And I was wrong. I was wrong, folks, and I'm not ashamed to admit when I'm wrong and accept a slice of humble pie. I have egg on my face, folks. Whatnot is going to make it, and they absolutely are a force to be reckoned with, and I wish I would have jumped on the boat sooner. If I would have started with them 2 years ago, I would be sitting pretty right now with a followership and a whole bunch of other opportunities for my business, but I'm not going to dwell on it. I missed out, and I'm going to start now. I'm a relatively new seller on Whatnot. I have about 1,000 followers now, and just like anything in this business, in life, you need to start from the bottom and build your way up. So now I want to talk about the technology and the customer service. And we got to be honest. I'm always going to be honest on this channel. I don't have an agenda. I don't have anyone that I have to answer to. Whatnot is not involved in this video whatsoever. And the technology leaves something a little bit to be desired in a lot of cases. Okay, there's a lot of room for improvement on Whatnot as far as the technology. It's glitchy in certain areas, but on the same token, it's really good in other areas. And a lot of that is user error and me just getting familiar with the app, but it's a little tricky to get the hang of. But once you do get the hang of it, it's smooth, and I think that I've already seen improvements to the app since I've started in the last 2 months. They're very responsive to sellers, and it's a tricky thing to have a functioning piece of technology, and I have full faith in them that they're going to work these kinks out that they do have. At this point, we're just talking about fine-tuning, right? They can use a little bit of fine-tuning, and to that point, whenever there is a glitch. And whenever, so far, my experience so far with customer service, whenever I have had to reach out to customer service, not only did they respond quickly, but they solved the problem quickly. In every single case, every single time that I have emailed customer support, I have a response within moments. Within moments of sending an email, I have a response, and within moments of that, the problem is solved. I've been truly pleasantly surprised with customer service. I haven't had a ton of experience with it. There's only been a few hiccups here and there, and there will be hiccups. But so far, every single time they have fixed it. I'm sure there are people out there that have had, horror stories just like anything else. But overall, so far, my experience has been great with customer service. So now I want to talk about the actual selling experience. And keep in mind, I have, a limited amount of experience. I've done, but enough to have an opinion on this. I can say that when you're just starting out on Whatnot and you have a low number of followers, it sucks. And when you start to get a bigger customer base and when you have more people in the room, like only one time so far, I've hit over 100 people in the room. And that one time with 100 people in the room was my best sell yet. And so when you have a lot of followers and a lot of people in the room, it's fantastic. Okay. So when you're brand new and you're just starting out, it sucks. And when you have a lot of followers, it's fantastic. And the thing about that is you can't just jump from A to Z. You have to put in the work. You have to earn those followers. The people on Whatnot that have 5,000 plus followers, that is evidence of how much effort and work they have put into it. All the giveaways, the content, the personality, the experience, sourcing the products that they bring. That is work, folks. And if they have that many followers, they put in the works. I think that it's a worthy endeavor to put in the work, and you're going to have to pay your dues in the process. Now, there's a couple things that I'll share that I wish I would have done a little differently while paying my dues, so I didn't have to take it on the chin so much, because if you followed any of my first Whatnot shows, I had this brilliant idea to come up with this brilliant mystery game, and I ended up losing actually a lot of money. People were getting like $700 polls for $125. It was crazy, and I only did that a couple times, but my advice would be, if you're a new seller, maybe don't do $1 starts. Maybe don't do, this really wise mystery poll game that you have where there's a possibility that you'll just completely take it on the chin. Maybe safeguard yourself as a new seller and be ready to not have great shows. Like if you're brand new to Whatnot and you have, $25, $30, $40 keys and you don't want to start them at $1 and you want to start them at $20, just be ready for them not to actually sell. It's a numbers thing. If you only have 10 people in the room, what are the odds that of those 10 people, one of them is actually willing to pay $20 for that book that's worth $20? It's actually really low. It's just a numbers thing. But over time, as you gain more followers and pay your dues, you'll get there. So next I want to talk about kind of somewhat of a hot button topic, and it's the subject that's been brought up a couple times. Is now there's a whole bunch of new sellers that are coming on to Whatnot, and do I think that the Whatnot platform is going to be saturated with new sellers? Is it going to go to crap because there's just any and everyone can actually sell on Whatnot? Coupled with more of the big sellers, the big comic book shops are coming to Whatnot, and are they going to edge out the little guy? So couple thoughts on that. Number one, I think it's going to be a self-regulating mechanism. The concept of the marketplace being saturated with too many sellers, I think it's self-regulating because, as I mentioned before, it sucks to start out on Whatnot. So when we have this influx of new sellers on Whatnot and they realize that it actually kind of sucks to be new and it's difficult to make a profit when you're starting out, I think that will self-regulate itself, and a lot of those new sellers are just going to fall off and they're not going to follow through with it. So it's self-regulating in that sense. And the other part, as a buyer, you can help regulate that situation. If you log on to Whatnot and you are a part of a show where it's obviously just a lousy seller, because let's be honest, there are a ton of lousy sellers on Whatnot. People that oversell stuff, people that don't adequately describe stuff, people that don't even know what they're selling and just selling it. It's just like any other platform. Like like on eBay or Instagram or any other place where you have people overselling stuff, people that have nefarious intentions, people that are not honest sellers. It's just the world that we live in, folks. And you, as a buyer, can help regulate this situation by not following and entering their giveaways, not bookmarking their shows. If they're doing something outright that's dishonest, reporting that. But the biggest thing that you can do is not support them with your dollar, right? So those two things, the self-regulating aspect of it, where the sellers themselves aren't going to be incentivized to come back because it's difficult, plus with, the buyers regulating part of it where they just don't support bad sellers, I think that it's going to regulate itself over time and we won't have an oversaturated market. And then bookmark the shows and the people that you do like to follow. There's enough awesome sellers on Whatnot that if you just bookmark, 10 or 20 or 30 people that always have consistent good deals and honest business practices, just follow them and you've got plenty of content right there. So now the other concept of the big shops coming to the platform and edging out the little guy. Well, at the end of the day, this really is a free market, and the amount of your success is directly proportional to the amount of effort and drive that you have as a seller. So if you're a small seller and Whatnot and you feel like you're getting edged out by the big guy, my advice to you and my encouragement to you is step up your game, and you can do it. Okay, I want to encourage you by saying that I started because I've been lumped into the category of a big seller. And, I have to say that I don't believe I have any advantage over anyone else just getting started. I got started with my business with a smartphone, just a smartphone. I started putting out YouTube videos. I was buying comic books retail from other retailers, other retail shops, and selling them myself. I was doing spec stuff. I was speculating on stuff. I bet big on a lot of stuff. But the biggest thing that I did to make my business successful is I put in the work. I put in 60 hours a week since I started this thing, sometimes even more than that. And the biggest thing that I've learned with my business to do is to put out consistent, compelling content on my YouTube channel, 2 videos a week for the last however long I've been doing this. I think it's going on 2 years now. And I feel like as long as I was feeding that part of the machine, the 2 videos a week, and keeping that going, that everything else kind of fell into place. But that is an incredible amount of work. And the only difference between myself and, say, a seller like Comic Tom, who has a massive following on Whatnot and YouTube, the only difference is the amount of work that we've put in, okay? I can tell you that Comic Tom is absolutely killing it in every aspect of the game. I mean, it's undeniable. The man is incredibly successful, and I can guarantee you that he works super hard. I can guarantee you that he has sunk countless hours into his craft to get it to where it is today. So when somebody comes to me and says, the big guy is edging out the little guy, when you're talking about big guys and considering myself a big guy and Comic Tom a big guy, I don't think we have any big guy advantages other than drive and determination. If you want this thing to be handed to you on a platter, if you want a platform like Whatnot where the little guy is going to be where the little guy is going to be supported, it's just not the way that this world works. This world and apps like Whatnot and everything in our world rewards people that have drive and determination. I mean, we're not going to prop up people that are half-assing their sales on Whatnot or people that aren't bringing as much to the table as the other guy. So it's not degrading the little guy. I am not degrading the little guy. I'm just saying I'm encouraging you to step up your game and encouraging you that the only difference between you and the big guy is drive and determination. You have the same access to the tools to get bigger. You have the same access to the tools to, acquire better product to bring to Whatnot. I am a comic book retailer, right? And most of the stuff that I bring, most of it has nothing to do with being a comic book dealer. I mean, other than like store exclusives, I do very little new comic book day stuff. It's all creativity based around feeding that 2-video a week YouTube channel, that's created these opportunities and this exposure and this platform. And that's where I source my materials. And I'm just here to encourage you and say that you can do it too. So my final thoughts on the app is I think that it is an incredibly powerful tool. I know somebody that sells on Whatnot that was able to quit their job, quit their 9-to-5 that they have had for years to support their family. Because of Whatnot, it has empowered them to quit that job and sell comic books full-time and make more money selling comic books than they ever did at their regular job. And now they have a platform where they can go live and guarantee sales of comic books at pretty much any time of day. I mean, that is an incredibly powerful tool. And it's just so awesome that it provides these opportunities that people have a resource at their fingertips to quit the 9-to-5 and sell comic books or whatever it is that they want to sell on Whatnot. But it's not just Whatnot. I don't want to leave this concept and this thought at that. It doesn't have to be comic books. This society that we live in and where we are today, where we're all walking around with supercomputers in our pockets that have access to resources and things that make stuff that would have just been dreamt of, in the past, is now totally possible and at your fingertips. And all you need is a smartphone and drive and determination, and you can do it. So I think these are exciting times. I think that, I'm incredibly grateful for all of the support that I've had so far from all of you. Thank you for coming along with me on this journey. I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on all of these concepts. Leave a note down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment on this video, and like this video for your chance to win a free slab. And head over to brycecomics.com and sign up for the newsletter for your chance to win another free slab each and every month. Of course, follow me on Whatnot for free giveaways every single show. Come join the fun and this revolutionary marketplace. Follow me on Instagram for trades, for grails, and other fresh content. I appreciate all of you so much for sticking with me to the end of the video, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
Bryce Comics.